Hey guys, welcome. In this module, we're going to be talking about how to blog and create quality content for your blog and also for other people's blogs and other people's publication sites. And forgive my voice, I sound a little bit like Christian Bale in Dark Knight, but we'll work through it. So let's talk about who your market is, because when you're trying to write great content and trying to make great content, you have to know who your market is, because remember, content, this is kind of a corny reused phrase, but content is king, right? The best way to market yourself online is to create great content. So here's how to do it. First, you got to figure out who your market is. So the thing I want you to remember is that blogging and writing is marketing now, right? You don't have to become a salesperson anymore. You don't have to be a used car salesman to get your message across and to actually make sales. You just have to be a good blogger. So first thing you have to do is listen to your users' keywords. Why? What do I mean by keywords? Well, the first thing you have to remember is that you are not your audience anymore, okay? You are not your audience. And I'm going to cover this again. I'm going to go over this again in another module, but I want you to remember you are no longer your audience. Since you are now making a product to help your audience, just because you're doing that, that means you're past where they're at and you're not them. So the words that you might think that they use to relate to their problem, maybe those aren't the words. Even if you've really been through what they're going through, you have to consider the fact that maybe you're past a little bit where they are right now. So a good way to use good keywords and good listeners' keywords is to check out other blogs and forums, and take direct quotes and phrases from what they do. So I'll try to show you some of the stuff I do. Let me see here. I've mentioned in a couple of earlier modules that I'm also making a product for busy moms, right? So what I did, let me see if I can find it. I took a lot of notes and research on busy mom stuff. I think this is a quote. Let's see. Let's see. These are research notes, right? Perfect. Okay. So what I did was I went online to different forums and I checked out exactly how moms were speaking about themselves, because I wanted to use those exact words and phrases in my writing, in my headlines, in everything that I was doing to make sure that what I was saying was exactly what they were feeling and vibing. So, and I wrote this a long time ago, so this isn't, I didn't prepare this especially for the series, for the Rich 20 series. So I just put quotes, notes, and observations. So I got this from Modern Home and Modern Baby. So these are just quotes that stuck out to me. And I actually went on the forums here, and I actually went on to different mom forums to see what people were saying. Um, and so I literally copy and pasted the things that stood out to me. Look at this way. This is a mom speaking. When I realized my jeans were getting too tight, my favorite skinny jeans no longer fit. I also started to eat too much at work. I'm a cook. It didn't help me. So finally, at the beginning of the new year, stepped into the gym, signed up, and went every day. Blah blah blah. So all I'm doing is thinking about the type of product that I want to make, finding the forums and other blogs online where people are talking about this, where my audience is talking, then I'm literally just copying their quotes directly so that I can study them, so that I can read them. I mean, look at all these notes that I've taken. These are just copy and paste things, you know? So I can study them and read them and really see how they're feeling and how they're thinking. Um, I have 1 year to get rid of all this weight. That's when I'm going to Disney World. So you can see that she has a specific goal, and maybe they're goal oriented in this way. So I've been doing a lot of research on the internet for healthy meal plans. I'll be signing up for a gym too far from the house. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. You know. So and yeah, I might have put this. I might have put this. I don't know. I don't know who put this. It says, "WTF Disney World women prep for the pool. They prep for theme parks. They prep for social gatherings to be accepted by their peers." So this is me taking notes on what my prospects, my prospective customers, are saying. So check out other blogs and forums. Listen to use your listeners' keywords. Remember that you're not your audience anymore. And then when you write, always include something self-referential, such as a link or an info box in your blog. So let me show you what that looks like. If I go to DiPiazza, if I go to if I go to if I go to Under 30 CEO, I have an article up on Under 30 CEO, and at the bottom of my article, I always include this. I always include this is called info box. Daniel DiPiazza is an author, coach, and life enthusiast. He's the creator of Rich 20 Something, and this links to Rich 20 Something and his blog. Here's my blog. He teaches 20 somethings to become self-employed, create wealth, and live better lives by turning their knowledge, experiences into information products. You can contact him directly at daniel@rich20something.com. So I always include a little bit about myself and where you can reach me and how you can get to me and where you can find my stuff at. Always include an info box. And I'll even do this on my personal blog. So if you look at my personal blog, and I haven't posted in 9 days. I really need to put some content up. But you'll see in my, you can look in the article. And you'll see, within my blog, I'll put little things like, if you want me to send you strategies so that you can plan your escape from corporate America, go to Rich 20 something, blah, blah, blah. So I always include something self-referential, so that people can know who I am and I can continue to put my stamp on my work. So always remember to do that. Use your listeners' keywords and become a little bit self-referential without being overtly promotional. So after you figure out who your market is, you have to develop your unique perspective. So first of all, don't worry that something's already been covered. I have someone I'm working with right now who is concerned that he's working on a website and he wants to talk about how to deal with the common cold, but he's concerned that that the common cold is so common that everything that you can say about it has been said. That's not true. First of all, don't worry that something's already been covered. There's nothing new under the sun. The only thing new is your original perspective, right? So you have to draw on your experiences, and nobody can copy that. You can write about whatever you want. You do not have to worry that someone's already written about what you're writing about. You can't plagiarize them, and there's no need to, because you have your original perspective, and it's drawn from your experiences. No one has lived your life. No one has gone through your exact experiences, even if they're close to you. So there's always something original to say. So don't worry about your content being unoriginal. You can always make original stuff just by being who you are. And also, you can't depend on the fact that everyone's already seen everything that's out there. I mean, there might be stuff on the common cold out there, but I can't assume that just because WebMD has written about the common cold that you've read that. I can't assume that, right? So that's about your unique perspective. Now let's talk about frequency and volume. So like if you determine your market, you figured out what you have to say that's unique. Now how often should you be writing? Well, I like to use what's called the bookstore metaphor. And I made a YouTube video about this the other day. Basically the bookstore metaphor is like this. You have to be writing a lot, especially at first. So let me give you an example. If you're in a bookstore, and when I was a kid, we had these books called Goosebumps. You guys might recognize them. Called Goosebumps. They're by an author named R.L. Stine, and he had like 50 or 100, 200 of these books out. There was tons of them. They're all in a series. And they were great books, and everyone read them, but they were really prevalent. And that's because he had a lot of content. He had a lot of books. There was a lot in a series. If he only had one book on the bookshelf, it could be the best book in the world, but you wouldn't be able to find it because there's only one. If you go to a bookstore and Mark Twain only has one book in the entire bookstore, it's going to be a lot harder to find Mark Twain's works. But if there's a Mark Twain section, which includes everything from Tom Sawyer to Huck Finn to all that type of stuff, you're going to have an easier time finding him because he has his own section filled with content. And that's what you need to do. You need to create your niche by filling your section with content. That's what we're doing here. So that means at first you have to be doing a lot of writing, and I recommend at least one time a day writing something for somewhere, whether it's your site or another site. And you can also pre and post date stuff, right? And so that gives it the volume effect. So let me give you an example. Now, I didn't do this with my website, but I definitely would have if I needed to. Basically, all these articles right here on my website, which, by the way, I'm not even following my own rule right now, and I need to get back on this. But you can see, no matter when you're watching this, the last post on December 20th, so you know that the holidays were around. That's why I didn't do that. But ideally, I would have kept writing. But what you could have done, at any given time, is you could have written 10 articles at the same time, and then you could have backdated, post-dated, or predated some of these dates, because you can change the date on your post to whatever date you want. You could put that you've been writing this, that you wrote this in 2007. It doesn't matter. You can change the entire date. And so what will be cool is if you're just starting off, but you have a lot of ideas, just so you don't look like a newbie, it'd be totally acceptable to write a bunch of articles and then just date them whenever you want to date them for. Maybe date them as a couple months old, and give the effect that you've been writing for a while. Just because you wrote things today doesn't mean that they're not valid. But a lot of times people will look at your work and be like, "Oh, they've only been writing for a week. What do they know?" And they won't want to check back. So why don't you just write a bunch of content and then just post date it, or predate it, I guess. That's one strategy you can use. It's a little hack. It's a little tip trick, and I think you can even do it by if you. I'm not logged into my user account, but it's easy to change. Just go to edit, and you can edit the date. Okay, so writing at least one time a week. People need to be able to find you. You need a lot of content out there, right? So let's talk about length. How long should it be? So you know who your market is. You know what your unique perspective is. You know how often you should be writing. Now, when you write, how long should it be? I say for original content, between 400 and 1,000 words usually works, just because people have short attention spans for blogs, but you want to survey and test your audience. So, if you're writing stuff, maybe health related stuff, maybe people like longer articles for health related stuff. But maybe for business stuff, they'll tend to like shorter stuff. So you have to test your articles, see what gets the most comments, see what gets the most feedback, and just write what you feel comfortable with. But don't feel like you have to write a book every time you want to write an article. And that's for original content. For content that's been reposted, you can see here, this is a 70% solution. What I did here was, well, no, for this one I didn't do it. Let's see, for this one, where is it? I had a repost. Oh, this is a repost from another website. So what I did was I just wrote a little blurb of it up here, and then I just copied from where their blog wrote this. I put a little preview of what they wrote, and then I put read the rest here, and you can go to their website and read the rest. So really, all I really wrote was like this small this small little part, and that's not too bad. So for original content, though, for content that's all yours, I'd say 400 to 1,000 words is usually pretty good. So what if you run out of things, or you get bored, or you don't know what to write? Well, remix, recycle, reuse. And let me close some of these up here. So first of all, you have to pre-screen your content. So this is a pretty good tip, okay? Let's see. Well, here we go. Let me just put it this way. Do what works, okay? It's really easy to come up with topics off the top of your head, but you don't know if all of them are going to work, right? But there are good ways that you can tell whether contents are really popular, or whether certain content or certain topics are really popular. So you can use different websites or search engines out there to figure out what people are searching for, how they're searching for them, and what to write about. So let's check it out. There are a couple different websites that are really helpful when you do this. One of them is Reddit. Another one is Y Combinator. And another one is do I have the Google Keyword Tool? Right, so these are 3 different things that I use to help. Okay, so this is Reddit. Reddit is called a link aggregator. So basically it just takes links that people like from articles that they found helpful, and it aggregates them in a specific order of what's been given a lot of likes, what's been given a lot of content, what's been given a lot of comments, right? So let's talk about this. All right. So let's say I want to write about, I don't know, venture capital. I would go to Reddit, I type in venture capital, and I can see now, and maybe I want to narrow it down and say, oh, I want to look in entrepreneur area. So basically what this is it's a link aggregator that shows every time an article gets an upvote, it moves up the page. So now I can look at how these articles are titled. So I can see now that maybe 1 month ago, people were pretty interested, 24 upvotes, considering changing degrees in college from entrepreneurship to computer science. Any opinions? So people are maybe interested in how computer science and entrepreneurship are related, or which one is more useful. Or also, people are interested in fundraising and business advice. Or let's see, is it reasonably possible to acquire venture capital from a yet to emerge industry? So these are all articles that have been upvoted, right? Or you can even get more general, like start a business. These are the things people want to know. I have 20 grand started a business, however, I don't know what I want to do. Any ideas or guidance? See, so people want to know, okay, if you have some money set aside, what would be the best options? Anyone wish to start a business but fear they never will? Oh, so now this is about emotions and how emotions play in it. And you can see this has 40 upvotes, but also has 108 comments, meaning that people are really excited about this. They're psyched up, and so that's important, right? So this is a good way, and you can do the same thing on Hacker News. You could just go to, you know, you could just search here wherever the search button is. You search at the bottom. You can go um, start a business. Whoops. And you want to go by points. I didn't learn anything on HN anymore. I don't learn anything on HN anymore. Bring back the upvote count. Okay, so um, let's see. A day in the life of a startup founder. Okay, so this had 606 points up. So this means that basically people are interested in the day-to-day lives of a successful entrepreneur. So you can see different things that can be written about. In the Google AdWords keyword tool, we'll talk about this a little bit more later in the SEO basics module, but this can also be used for pretty much the same purposes and same devices. So these are good ways to figure out what's popular, right? Reddit, Google keyword tool, Hacker News, etc. You don't have to write all original content. Okay, check this out. There are 3 ways you can create content without sitting down and writing brand new stuff every day. One way is just to repost and blurb. So that's what I've shown you I've done on my website sometimes. I'll find something interesting, repost it, and write a little blurb about it before I repost it. Another way is you can get guest posting on your site. So I haven't done this yet, but I could go to my website and I could open up an option for people to post on my website if they want to contact me and submit an article. If my website's getting a lot of traffic, they'll also get traffic. So it's benefit to them and it's benefit to me because I don't need to write anything as long as it's good content. And another way is you can recycle content from other media. So you can take content from your YouTube, from your podcast if you do that, from your ScreenFlow, from your ezine articles, from your interviews, and other stuff, and you can turn those into blog posts, or vice versa. You can turn a blog post into a YouTube video, or a podcast, or a ScreenFlow. So let me give you an example. Sometimes I will go to YouTube if I'm really like if I'm not um, if I don't really know what to write about, and I've already um, I'll see what kind of videos I've already made, and then I'll pull a topic from there, and I'll write about it. So, like for instance, um, I'll look at my Lamborghini IRL test drive, and I might write an article about how I was able to talk my way into a Lamborghini dealership and drive the car. Or I might be able to write an article about how to become overwhelmed, or how to avoid becoming overwhelmed. Or I might write an article called What It Takes to Become an Entrepreneur. These are all videos that I've made, but I haven't written articles on them yet, but they're videos that I've made. So when you make more and more content from different places, you'll end up making more and more ideas for yourself to make content. And you can do the same thing with all your stuff. Or if you write a good article, you can always turn it into a YouTube video later. Or you can turn it into a podcast. Or you can turn it into a screenflow. Or you can write for ezine articles, which is pretty cool. ezinearticles.com. Or you can just do some interviews and you can write those interviews. So like I have interviews on my expert entrepreneur page. I have interviews right here, and but I haven't written any articles on these. So I can very much take some of this content and write an article on this stuff. So there's always places to get ideas for your articles. You'll never run out. But the key is you want to be able to remix, recycle, and reuse your content. So let's talk about distribution channels now. So my opinion is that you want to dig the well before you need it. I got that from Jeff Walker, Product Launch Formula. So dig the well before you need it, meaning start writing for other blogs and start asking to guest post on blogs that you feel are beneficial for both you and them to appear on. Start thinking about content distributors. So start thinking about determine the main media sources in your niche. What other websites are promoting what you want to talk about, and try to build a relationship with them. Try to talk to them, and try to write for other articles. Try to write for other websites. So right now, I'm writing for 3 websites. I write for my wepsite. I guess it's 4. My website. I write for Huffington Post. I write for Under 30 CEO, and I write for epiclaunch.com. And all those websites are just I just basically found the contact information of the editor or the person who handles the submissions, emailed them, gave them a little sample of my work, and they said, hey, we'd love to have you write for us. So it's not hard. It's not a little secret club. There's plenty of opportunities to write out there. Make sure you have somewhere to write. So my goal is to get at least 12 channels, one per month, meaning every month I'm looking for a new place where I can show my writing. So like right now I have 4 places, including my own website, and every month from here on out I'm looking to get at least one place, one new place I haven't been on where I can demonstrate my writing ability. People will find me and people can track back to my website. So once you determine who your market is and you figure out your unique perspective, and you set up your schedule of frequency, like writing every day, at least once. It doesn't have to be too long, but you can always reuse your own content. Remember that. You can always reuse your own content. Um, and then get it out there, get it into different distribution channels. And of course, distribution channels includes all these other things. Like it's not this is mostly about blogging, but it's really about creating content in general. So when I say think about different channels. Those channels could also be YouTube, podcast, ScreenFlow stuff, Easing articles, interviews, more. And we'll talk more about what ScreenFlow is and Easing articles are more later. But there are different places to get your content out there. So just start thinking about where you can distribute yourself. So that's kind of all there is to it. It's a lot, but really it starts with just taking the first simple step of starting to write your ideas down. And then once you get confident in your ideas and you have a blog, then you can start talking to other people in other places and start getting your content out there. So your assignment right now is to start writing immediately. Go write something, okay? And email me when you do because I want to read it. Peace out, guys. Talk later.